I'm D'Lo Jordan, and this is VENUM. Welcome to The Void. This is episode 44. I'd like to direct your attention to the video description below this video. There you will find links to my full network. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so, and click that bell to enable notifications. It's the only way to be notified when a new video is uploaded. On this episode, I'm talking AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite from February 9th, 2022. And the big thing everybody's talking about, there was a major earth-shattering debut. A new talent that is sure to shake the very foundation of all elite wrestling. I am, of course, talking about AQA. Who? No. I'm talking about Keith Bearcat Lee has debuted in All Elite Wrestling. Now, some people are going to say, okay, don't be calling him Bearcat. That was a WWE thing. But to be honest, that's how I was introduced to the guy. So, a minor joke. All 7 people that watch this will forgive me. So, Keith Lee is All Elite. He makes a splash by winning a qualifier for the, what is it? Some ladder match. Some nonsense. So, he qualifies for that. I'm going to talk about it in full detail a little bit later on because we're going to go chronologically, right? So I'll get to Keith Lee in a little bit. But from the top, it's Wednesday night. And you know what that means. The show goes on air. Intro package. Cuts to a shot of the arena. They're live from Atlantic City in New Jersey. Sounds horrible. And the first thing we see is Wardlow. Wardlow just walked out. No music or nothing. He just walked out. And he's carrying cardboard cutouts. One of MJF sitting cross-legged style with his hands out. And another one of MJF with the sleeper hole locked in on CM Punk. Right? There's a screenshot from the match from last week. So Wardlow gets in the ring, and he handed the ring announcer a piece of paper or a script or something. And the ring announcer read it and introduced FTR and Tully Blanchard. And they come out, music playing, all the fanfare, whatever. So they get to the ring, and then the ring announcer introduced Sean Spears. And Spears came out with his music playing and all the fanfare and everything. Looking like a fucking child predator. And then when Spears gets in the ring, where are we at? Yeah, so Spears gets in the ring and he handed the ring announcer like some kind of blue folder or some kind of manifesto with I guess paperwork inside for the ring announcer to read from, and there's like this huge paragraph introducing MJF, saying all this nonsense and talking him up. Then eventually MJF's music starts playing, and the ring announcer introduced MF. I call MJF MF because I'm not big on middle names, so. You know, why say an extra syllable or extra word that you don't have to say? So Maxwell Friedman, MF, he came out on a throne-like platform with 6 guys carrying the whole platform, right? Like he's the crown prince or whatever. They bring the platform down to the ringside and set it on the apron. And MF, he stands up and he motions to, there was these 2 females out there. He motions to one chick, "Oh, give me a peck right here." And she kisses him on the cheek. Then he motions to the other chick, "Oh, give me a pecker right here." And the chick turned his head and they just started making out, just full on, for what felt like minutes. Just cameras focused on it, nothing else going on. They're just sitting there making out. So after that, MF gets in the ring and he kind of greets the other members of the Pinnacle. Whatever nonsense. Then MF got a mic and just started talking. Just started running his mouth. MF thanked, he goes, "Oh, I couldn't have won last week without a very special guy, Shawn Spears. Thank you for helping me warm up," or whatever the hell. And meanwhile, Wardlow is sitting there looking perturbed, because quite clearly it was him that cheated to help MJF win the match. But whatever, Wardlow gets no respect around here. So after MF said that, Shawn Spears took over and said, "Oh, I got your present." And he revealed on the Titantron in the arena, "Oh, this is MF's new shirt design." And it said, "Better than the best in the world." So MF continued talking, and he was saying whatever. But then the camera gets a shot of the entrance stage. CM Punk emerged from the back. He just walked out onto the stage. No music playing, no huge fanfare. Just walked in out of nowhere. And CM Punk is a guy that gets it. He knows how to make this look like it's supposed to. So he walks out with no music because it's impromptu. This is unplanned. And he waves over Tony Schiavone. "Hey, get over here." And Tony Schiavone comes over with the microphone and holds it for CM Punk, just like you're supposed to do. Because elsewise, if CM Punk just walks out with his music blaring and he's already got a microphone, that means that this is pre-planned and otherwise phony, right? So CM Punk is trying his best to show these other clowns how this thing's supposed to look, how this thing's supposed to be, how to make it resemble a wrestling program instead of just, oh, it's a show, everybody's in on it, we don't have to make it make logical sense. No, Punk gets it, so he, I assume, is hands-on and makes his segments feel like, this is an actual wrestling event that's being broadcasted instead of something that's been, written, whatever. So Shivani's holding the mic for Punk. Punk said, eventually got to, I've got some friends in the back. Calls out Sting and Darby Allin. They walked out with baseball bats. They had 3 of them. They handed Punk one. And Punk was basically demanding a rematch. So, you didn't play fair. He wants a rematch. And MJ said, "No, not getting a rematch." And then Punk just go, "Oh, no, I'm talking about with Wardlow." So it's like, so Punk issued a challenge. Where am I at? Yeah, so Punk's like demanding a rematch. And he says, "Oh, I want the man who beat me in Chicago, Wardlow." It's like, okay, so this kind of got muddy. It's like, is he wanting a match with Wardlow actually, or is he wanting a match with MF? And then eventually MF issued a challenge. "Oh, Punk, if you could find a partner who isn't Darby Allin or Sting and beat FTR in a match tonight, then you'll get a rematch anytime, any place." And it's like, okay, so I'm confused. Does Punk actually want a match with Wardlow or no? Like, what's... So, like I said, this was all kind of murky and a bit over... They put too much in there. So, and that was it. Okay, tag team match for later on tonight. Punk has to find a partner who isn't his already established allies. So, we go to an ad break, and when the show comes back, Andrade, El Idolo, Jose, Sting and Darby Allin, and Tony Schiavone are somewhere. There's brickwork everywhere. They're just somewhere. And Andrade is trying to get, that little boy to come work for me. Or whatever the fuck. He's trying to get Darby Allin to work for him. And this nonsense went nowhere, and it went there fast. And then it was over. I don't know what's going on. I've written here, I don't know what any of this was about. Back in the arena, the Blade, some guy made his entrance. Lower third identified him as the Blade. I've written here, who? Apparently he's affiliated with the Hardy Poison Vortex. So that explains why you're like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Because you don't pay attention to anybody associated with HPV. Wardlow was out next. He's accompanied by Shawn Spears. It's going to be a one-on-one match. So I thought this was kind of weird, the whole sequencing of this. If it's going to say, okay, the next thing that's going to happen is Wardlow's going to have a match after that opening segment, why didn't MJF say, oh, Wardlow, by the way, you got a match. Why don't you go to the back and get ready? So that way it's like, because you go from the last thing you see is all the Pinnacle in the ring, and then you go to a off-site interview, and then when you come back, Wardlow's making his entrance again. So, I mean, they explained it. Oh, he needed to go to the back and get his wrestling gear on. Whatever, that's fine. I would just like to visually see him walk out the arena before he then comes back out. But whatever, maybe that's nitpicking. The match got underway, and it was just kind of a slow, plodding ordeal. They just went and were outside the ring on the arena floor for what felt like a week and 3 days. It was just like, and I don't even think the referee was even counting them out. It was just like, I'm sitting there watching this, and it's like, what are the rules? What are the rules? For the fuck's sake, what are the rules? They're just doing whatever the fuck they want, and the rules of professional wrestling, as I know them, aren't being enforced, and it's just like, okay, this is just happening. So, whatever. Anytime that happens, it's like, okay, well, this is outlaw. I'll just, zone in and out, because you can't, once it becomes outlaw, you're like, if, put it this way, if you're watching a tennis match and, they start off playing tennis, they're hitting it back and one guy serves, or one female, whoever, one person serves, the other person hits it back, they hit it back, and then all of a sudden the guy just grabs the ball with their hand, throws it, and they just start batting it around with their hand. One guy catches the tennis ball, puts it in his pocket. You'd be saying to yourself, the fuck is going on? They're no longer playing tennis. They're not abiding by the rules of tennis, so what the fuck am I watching? It's the same thing here. So as soon as they just start making up their own rules, it's like, okay, well, this is hard to pay attention to, because I know the rules of professional wrestling. This ain't it. So Wardlow ended up powerbombing the fucking guy, the Blade, 4 times, and then he pinned him with his foot on his chest, and that was that. Post-match, Shawn Spears just slid in and hit the guy once with a steel chair and then looked like he had orgasmed. So I don't know. The same nonsense that's just so played out. I'd like to see Wardlow have an actual match where, it's something of substance instead of just this outlaw nonsense. Next, they played a confusing horror movie-esque video package surrounding Penta Miedo, and it was like voiceovered by Alex Abrahantes, AA. He's like talking about how, I guess, Penta has to go to this dark place or whatever. And then it was over. It ended on a shot of a red and black mask. Don't know what the fuck's going on here. Back in the arena, Chris Jericho, Jake Hager. I've written here, who? Jake Hager When was the last time he was on this program? Jake Hager, the former Jack Swagger. It's like, whatever. So Jericho, Jake Hager, and Sammy Guevara, they all come out with Judas blaring across the speakers. Some person in the crowd had a sign that said, "I came to sing Judas." Why don't you just stay home and sing Judas, you dumb fuck? So they came out. They're being all midlife crisis-y looking. They've got leather jackets on and just pants. And they've all got on shoes that don't match the rest of their outfit. So I don't know the fuck any of this is about. I've written here, why does Sammy still have 2 belts? What, like, he's got 2 TNT championship belts. Is he both the interim and the permanent TNT champion? Is that what I'm supposed to get from this? Is that, he's like, just, he's got 2 of the same belt. They're the same belt. So, he's the undisputed TNT champion. Okay, so throw the replica in the garbage and just walk out with a TNT championship. Like, what? It's just nonsense. So Jericho started talking. Before he could really get anything out, Santana and Ortiz came out with either the new entrance music or their old entrance music, and I've just never heard it before. So they come out looking street. They weren't wearing Inner Circle leather jackets or none of that bullshit. So Santana gets a mic, and he just basically told Chris Jericho all the way off, like, fuck this Inner Circle shit. You've been holding us down. Anytime we get close to the tag team championships, you've got some other issue we need to hop in, and all of a sudden now it's an Inner Circle issue when really the only person that serves to advance is Chris Jericho. So Santana is telling Jericho off. He's spitting facts. He told Jericho when, where, why, and how he could shove this shit up his ass. And, Santana outlined how Jericho had been holding down, basically, and keeping them down and just promoting his own agenda. So partway through this nonsense, Sammy interjected, Hey guys, we're family. We're family. And Jericho told him to shut up. Shut up, Sammy! And Sammy's, okay, that's the way you want it. Sammy took off his crappy, shitty-looking Inner Circle jacket that said Spanish God on the side and put it down on the ground and then just walked out with his 2 belts. And it's just like, all right. He said, I've quit this group before, and if you guys don't figure your shit out, I'll quit again or something. And it's like, and just walked off. So Sammy did the right thing by getting the fuck out of Dodge and away from this steaming pile of shit. Eventually, there was a challenge made, Santana and Ortiz versus Jericho and Hager for a match next week. And I'm not sure what that's going to solve. It's just like, okay, this whole thing is totally smells like a 2-week-old rotting buffalo carcass. Next, Roppongi Vice were by some trailer with Tony Schiavone. They're there for an interview, and before anybody could say anything or make any kind of point or get any information across, the Young Bucks walked in, and they said some shit, and then they just started attacking Trent and Romero. And then Adam Cole came in out of nowhere and assisted the Bucks. So it's 3-on-2. Then some guy appeared. They just look up and go, oh, look who it is. And then some guy walks in, long black hair, leather jacket with some shit written on the back. Switchblade or whatever. I guess apparently he's some New Japan guy. Look, here's the thing. Myself, like most other Americans, don't give a flying fucking fuck about anything that goes on in Japan as long as it doesn't directly affect the United States. So, he's some New Japan guy. I don't give a fuck. Like most people. So I'm just like, so he comes in and slams Trent into the trailer. So, it's the forbidden door. He's walked through the I don't know. Written here, what is going on? Question mark. Just like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? What in the flying, divine, Clementine titty fuck? So back in the arena, Isaiah Cassidy made his entrance. He was accompanied by Matt Hardy and Mark Quinn. And on the way to the ring, they went to an ad break. Back from the ad break, it was time for the heavily touted new signee. the debut of the new big earth-shattering signee. He came out. It was Keith Bearcat Lee. So they've signed and debuted more talent. Great. You know, they haven't done that in a while. What? Couple weeks. Last person was Danhausen. I don't know. They've already got too much roster, too much talent. And they've only really got a 2-hour Wednesday night primetime show that anybody really pays attention to. You know, Rampage is good for what it is, but you know, most people are skipping that because it's a B show and it's, you know, unless you just want a nice little hour of mindless wrestling that's not really gonna be of any, you know, it's missable. Rampage, right? Friday Night Rampage. I don't watch it. I don't give a fuck. Don't watch that. Don't watch any of their dark shit. So for the most part, this 2-hour Wednesday night show is where we need to have the hitters, and they just keep signing more people, and people keep where's Dante Martin? Where's Dante? When is the last time Dante Martin was on Dynamite? Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly? Could we put their faces on a fucking milk carton? Red Dragon, where are they? Where are they? So that's the problem you run into when you just keep signing people every week. Fuck, I mean, Keith Lee, Danhausen, Mercedes Martinez, Kyle O'Reilly, what's his name? Brody King. Just, you know, every other week there's a new person debuting and somebody else is disappearing. Where the fuck is Eddie Kingston? When's the last time Eddie Kingston was seen? You know, so it is what it is. Last time I saw old Bearcat, he was on, was it Raw? I think he was on Raw. And he came out and he walked out and he looked like a guy that was sleepwalking to a bus stop to wait on a bus that was never coming, right? He just looked like a guy that was going through the motions and waiting for something to be over. He comes out here, Keith Lee does, and he looks rejuvenated. He just, there was a vibrance to him. He got in the ring and he did his deal, and the people, bask in his glory. And Keith Lee's, you know, he's yucking it up. So, you know, there's a lot of people into this guy, and in this environment, what I'd like to see is him just steamroll, just untouchable all the way to, say, a TNT championship, and just be completely dominant for, say, a year and a half, just completely untouchable, and then maybe have this huge return of a guy like Miro. Where the fuck is Miro? You know, and then build up a big match between the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. You know, something like that. That would be a good thing to do with a guy like this, and in this environment it can be done, but you know, Dynamite kind of lacks focus, so we'll see what they end up doing with him. But anyway, so Keith Lee, he gets in the ring looking like a land manatee. The match got underway, and Keith Lee moved like he was wrestling like this was 205 Live. Keith Lee was just so on top of the match that partway through this thing, Matt Hardy just walked out of the arena. He just, all right, I've had enough. Obviously, Cassidy can't handle this. He ain't winning. Let me just go back to catering. And Matt Hardy just walked off. I equate Keith Lee to being a Mack truck with a Ferrari engine. And eventually Keith Lee won this with he popped the guy up into a power slam type maneuver. And so Keith Lee has qualified for the Face of the Revolution ladder match. Or whatever. Supposed to match. Both members of Private Party. They tried to attack Keith Lee and he just beat the brakes off of both of them. And that was that. So, a lot of potential energy here. If it goes anywhere, that's going to be up to AEW management. And, I can't say I've got faith in this being handled well, but we will see. After that, there was a video package. Britt Baker, Mercedes Martinez, and Thunder Rosa in some convoluted rewriting of history that they've gone back and said, okay, no. Now, Britt Baker's the one who brought Mercedes Martinez in, not Jade Cargill. Erase. So they're trying to now turn this into a Britt Baker Thunder Rosa feud, proxy Mercedes Martinez, right? I think they're having a match on Rampage. I don't fucking know, and I don't care. Back in the arena, Sammy Guevara came out and did another bit as a cue card toting mute. So that's still going on. I've written here, I'm not sure it was accomplished. Next, FTR makes their entrance. They're accompanied by Tully Blanchard. They're in their gear. It's tag team match to determine if CM Punk will get another rematch with, is it MF or Wardlow? I don't fucking know. That promo from earlier was so confusing. So FTR get in the ring, and then Cult of Personality blared across the speakers. Look in my eyes, what do you see? CM Punk comes out. He makes his entrance. He's got on red trunks, hoodie. Looks like he's ready to go. Came out in fight mode. I will say CM Punk just needs to go ahead and bite the bullet and get some Just for Men. His beard looks just... I don't want to say it's kind of depressing, but it's like I would prefer if he shaved it off or dyed it. Just don't have this ungodly beard with all that gray. It just doesn't translate nicely on TV. It just doesn't. And this might be a nitpick, but for the fuck's sake, do something about that beard. So we're waiting on the mystery partner. Punk's partner turned out to be Jon Moxley. He comes out just wandering around the crowd. I don't know if he got lost or took a wrong turn. Maybe he should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque. So he just walks around for a bit and then eventually finds his way to the ring. Wow, dang. Place is jumping, whatever. So Moxley gets out there and I'm just thinking, the fuck? Like, what are we doing here? Like Jon Moxley? They just random generator. Moxley, come on out here. There's been no on-screen established anything with these two. But fine. Random tag partner that just wants to fight. Whatever. We could accept these things. So the match gets underway. Punk started off with Dax Harwood, and they did some wrestling. They did some goddamn wrestling, and it was refreshing. But CM Punk alone isn't enough to keep this thing straight, and this is the issue I have, whenever I'm going to shows and working matches. As soon as you have like 4 more people in the match, it just descends into outlaw because everybody's got to get their opinion heard, and not everybody knows how wrestling works. So shit quickly descends into fucking outlaw. And unfortunately, that's what happened here. This thing descended into outlaw. All 4 men fought on the outside of the ring. This is the second time this happened tonight. They just fought on the outside of the ring for an entire picture-in-picture break, and the referee never even attempted to count anybody out. So it's just like, what is this? What is this? It's not a match, and it's not wrestling. Just stuff is happening. So, and unfortunately, you got CM Punk involved in this horseshit, so, it is what it is. Eventually, FTR slam Jon Moxley through a table at ringside. I think the timekeeper's table or whatever. And that's now all of a sudden, they're doing a near countout spot. They fought on the outside for about 3.5 minutes. FTR puts Jon Moxley through a table. Now, I better start counting so he could nearly get counted out and slide in at the last second on a 9 count. It's just like, this is fiction. This is just fucking fiction. Can somebody who knows, like CM Punk knows he's a part of this match. Couldn't he just tell these guys, look, we ain't fucking doing that shit. It doesn't make sense. That ain't wrestling. Let's just do something that makes sense. Dax, Cash, why are they going along with this nonsense? Since coming to AEW, I've lost so much, I don't want to say respect, but just the aura of FTR. They used to be these ring generals who were by the book, old school as fuck, and now they're just going along with all this horseshit, and it's just complete nonsense. So after fighting out on the outside of the ring, uninterrupted for 3 minutes, they put Moxley through a table, and now all of a sudden the referees, can he get back in? 1, 2, doing a count out. Just Moxley makes it back in at 9, whatever. So they just tried to do too much, and the match quit making sense. And then eventually, people were just hopping in and out the ring, and the referee's looking like she took a fucking hit of acid or LSD. She's just fucking useless, most of this. It's just like, they're like, let's just do stuff. Yeah, and no one says, yeah, but we can't do that because of X rule, or, well, you got to be out at a 10 count or a 5 count, or, whatever. They just, no, we'll just do it. We'll just do it, and we won't give a fuck about if it makes sense or not. Punk eventually won this thing with a GTS, and as he was hitting that, Moxley gave the other guy a DDT. And that was it. So Punk will get another match with Maxwell Friedman, MF, or Wardlow. I don't know. He's going to get a match with somebody at some point. So that's all we know. Maybe upcoming pay-per-view, Revolution. They don't call it premium live events. That's a fucking WWE thing. Premium live event. AEW is still doing pay-per-views, so maybe they'll catch up with the curve. Whatever. After that, it was an open challenge for the TBS Championship. Some chick we've never seen before, AQA. Oh, she's trained by Booker T or whatever. No one cares. First of all, what kind of name is AQA? Like, this chick came out and she looked like a high school freshman. And the Jade Cargill came out. She's with her manager, Mark. Jade Cargill still can't wrestle. She has fake glued on manicured fingernails. So that anytime you see a female wrestler with glued on extended fake manicured fingernails, you just write them off immediately, because it's like, okay, they're not even trying to wrestle. They're out here trying to be a TV personality. That's rule number 1. So, and then it shows because she gets in the ring and is complete shit. So Jade Cargill was out there looking like a a large bird, an ostrich, or a whooping crane trying to deliver these moves. It's just... crowd didn't give a fuck. Crowd did not give a fuck. At one point, AQA did a jawbreaker to Jade Cargill's tits. Meanwhile, her jaw's up here. So the people in the crowd were as silent as if a golf game was taking place inside a library. I mean, seriously, what's the point of doing these open challenge matches for both the TNT and TBS? Why don't we have, I don't know, a story, a rivalry, a feud? They just, every now and then, they just go, oh, TNT Championship Open Challenge, or, well, TBS title Open Challenge, and they just have a match and nothing results from it, and it's never, like, just, can't book. That's what that's the result of. So Jade Cargill won this, and nobody gave a fuck. Then immediately they cut away to backstage. The Young Bucks and Adam Cole. They were talking some shit, and I didn't care enough to pay attention. They sounded like grade school kids just talking some nonsense. Yeah, man, or whatever. Back in the arena, Serena Deeb came out. She made her entrance for the second women's match of the night. Wow, upgrade. They're having two of these on one show for, I think, the first time ever in history. It's set to be the Professor's 5-minute rookie challenge. So she's all talking about how, nobody in that locker room can hold a candle to her. And she's going to beat somebody in 5 minutes because nobody could last 5 minutes with her even. Some chick was already in the ring. She was already out there. Something Arquette. And Serena Deeb proceeded to beat this bitch in 4 minutes. Done deal. Next, there was a hype package for the tag team title feud, I guess. They're going to have a match at some point. The Gun Club versus the Jurassic Experience. I've written here, meh. One guy got thrown in the snow last week in the phoniest looking shit you'll ever see on TV. It's like, oh, we've got a camera. Hey, follow us. We're going to do some. And then they turn and the guy's standing right there. Jungle Boy. And it's like, just, can somebody fucking produce this show? Could somebody pay attention to each segment, make everything make sense, have what precedes another segment make sense in relation to the thing that's coming after? Just, can somebody sit down and produce this fucking show? Because this shit's out of control. So after that video package that didn't really get you hyped for anything, because, like, what the fuck's been going on between these two teams? First things first, anytime you see Billy Gunn on TV, you're just like, what year is this? I know this is a new promotion, AEW Dynamite, but what year is it? After that, it was time for the main event. Fucking Lance Archer's music started playing. But there's chaos going on backstage. They cut to a shot of two people fighting backstage in the darkness. Turns out it's Adam Hangman Page and Lance Archer. The announcer says, I guess this match is starting backstage. How the fuck can... Oh my God. How the fuck can a match start backstage? This is just... Can you imagine if you turned on UFC 334 or whatever the fuck, I don't know what number they're at, and you get to the main event match, Conor McGregor versus whoever the fuck, George St. Pierre, and music starts, making his way to the octagon, Conor, and then they just stop and cut, and people are fighting out in the street or fighting backstage. First of all, why the fuck is the camera there? Why is the camera there? Could somebody explain this to me? Why is the camera there? Just ready, already shooting these guys. That would be my first question. Why is nobody trying to stop this? They need to come out, get in the octagon, and follow the regulations of this MMA match. They can't be just makes no fucking sense. It's obviously phony. They eventually fight out into the arena. They just walk out into the arena while throwing fake punches at each other. Adam Page runs Archer through a pane of glass that was just obviously set up for that exact spot. Like, why the fuck else would that be there? There's like some setup over, they got two tunnels, and there's just like some setup over one tunnel for no fucking reason other than to have somebody go through it. So Lance Archer emerges from being thrown through the glass and he's bleeding. Great. So going into this, I knew this was going to be, everybody's bleeding, weapons and furniture-filled plunder brawl that just goes way too long and is fucking stupid. And that's what it turned out to be. That's exactly what it turned out to be. At one point, Dan Lambert ran out. He ran out, and I guess Jake Roberts hobbled out. Lambert loosened one of the top rope turnbuckles. They said on commentary, I guess he's trying to eliminate the buckshot lariat because Adam Page needs to do a front flip over the top rope and to hit his buckshot. So, that was a decent spot, and it's something that could fit in this environment where it's, no disqualification, etc., etc. At one point, Jake Roberts wound up Page's arm and hit Page with a short arm clothesline, and it was probably the biggest reaction of the whole match. I'm sitting there watching this going, there was a barbed wired steel chair. Which is something that is obviously somebody has put together on purpose, because otherwise it's not a thing that exists. A steel chair with barbed wire either glued or somehow affixed to the seat part. Why would that be a thing that exists ever? So it's just like, so this is fucking stupid. And eventually Adam Page won by doing a buckshot lariat where the referee was bent over trying to get something out of the ring because there's just a bunch of garbage everywhere. And Page did his flip off the referee's back and buckshot lariated Lance Archer, who was standing on the apron, but it wasn't really a lariat. Page just hugged the guy and they both fell over and threw. There were two tables set up, but they only hit and broke one, and the other one was just there. So... And it's like, all right, okay. I feel like this type of match is just so played out. It's just so played out. Whether it's a no DQ or a lights out or a Texas death match, they all kind of blur together and end up being pretty much the same thing in the end, right? I feel like they do this type of thing so frequently, it's just starting to numb their audience to just like, this again. Oh, somebody goes through a table, For example, the finish of this match was Lance Archer going through a table, right? But so what? Who cares? 40 minutes earlier, FTR put Jon Moxley through a table, and Jon Moxley made it back in the ring before a 10 count. So, and that was a regular rules match. So, if they're doing that in a regular rules match, then here your main event, the finish is a guy going through a table where they're just... How am I supposed to care? How am I supposed to care? They just keep doing the same, they just keep doing these same things. And I think somehow they've been convinced, this is a good idea. We're embodying the spirit of ECW or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I think personally, this will eventually burn out their audience, desensitize them, and numb them to where unless someone is hospitalized for real or possibly murdered live on air, it's going to be hard to garner any kind of reaction from the audience. It's just like, slow the fuck down. Slow the fuck down. That's my advice to AEW. Slow the fuck down. But that was it. That was AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite from February 9th, 2022. Feel free to leave any comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you thought of All Elite Wrestling Wednesday Night Dynamite, what you thought of the debut of Keith Lee, the appearance of Switchblade, and who else? AQA. Let me know your thoughts on AQA. Is she a bad bitch, or will we never see her again on this program? I think it's the latter. At any rate, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so, and click that bell to enable notifications. It's the only way to be notified when a new video is uploaded. That is all I got for you on this episode. Until next time, I'm D-Lo Jordan, and this is right here. This is VENUM.